Hello, Father Michael Nasser here with this week's Midweek Reflection. And I'm going to reflect on a word that we have thought about and heard about and talked about and probably most importantly felt for a long time now. And that word is uncertainty. Uncertainty. We are so uncertain in this time of pandemic. We're uncertain. Are we going to get it? If we get it, what's going to happen? Because some people get it and nothing happens. Some people get it and they die from it. Um, am I carrying it? Am I going to give it to somebody? So much uncertainty. So I've got some good news and I've got some bad news in terms of uncertainty. But actually, the bad news is kind of good news. We'll get there. Bad news is not only are we uncertain of the things that we know we're uncertain of, like the spread of the coronavirus, we're actually completely uncertain of almost everything that we think is certain. I was driving here to Grand Rapids on the day of our move. I had the kids in the back seat, and the cat and the dog, and unfortunately Vicky was not with us because her mother was not doing well and she was flying to Arizona. And I made a phone call, and my only uncertainty at that moment was, were we going to get to Grand Rapids before the moving truck? That was what I thought was uncertainty. And not only, not no more than 2 minutes after a phone call to say, hey, hopefully you can get there in case I don't get there before the moving truck, we got into a accident, which could have been a horrific accident. Thank God nobody was seriously hurt, even though we rolled a car several times on the interchange from 69 to I-96. I didn't know that at the time. I thought the uncertainty was the moving truck. I didn't know the uncertainty of that I wasn't going to make it all the way onto I-96, let alone get to Grand Rapids, let alone meet the moving truck. So that's the bad news in the sense that the things that we think are certain, we don't know. Is a meteor going to crash down on my head in the next 5 seconds? I don't know. Am I going to get coronavirus and get really sick and maybe die of that? I don't know. Maybe I'm worried about that. In the meantime, I get something else. I don't know. So that's sort of the bad news, that there's even more uncertainty than we thought. But here's the good news that really does cover up the bad news. The good news is, of the very little we can actually be certain of, it's the most important. What we can be certain of, if we decide to, it's our decision, is to put our faith in Jesus Christ and everything that he has told us and taught us and promised us. And if we do that, then there's really nothing that we are still uncertain about that really matters. In other words, if he is the conqueror of death and he says that I have provided a way for you and whoever wants to follow me through death to life, not just back to this life with all its uncertainty, but to the next life, which has no uncertainty. It's just goodness and truth and beauty and joy, all the wonderful things that we dream about. That's the kingdom of heaven that, if we choose to, we can be certain of, and we can be certain that Christ has made the way for us, and we can be certain of what we need to do to receive that gift of love that he wants to give us, not just for a moment, but forever. That's certain. If you get the Word magazine, make sure you read Bishop John's message at the beginning of I think of the November, December issue. You can just Google it, Word magazine, November 2020 issue. You'll find it. It's a beautiful message. And it's about certainty. There's a lot of things we're uncertain about, but we are certain about this if we want to be. We are certain about that Christ has solved every problem that really matters. Has he cured every disease? No. But has he cured death, which is the worst thing that can happen in a disease? Yes. He has cured, solved, fixed every problem that's an ultimate problem, which really is death. And if you think about it, a lot of things that we do in our lives, that along the way of our lives, that gets us messed up, what we call in the church sin, so much of that, in fact, some of the fathers say all of that, is wrapped up in the avoidance of death because we don't know what to do about death that's coming. But if Christ has solved that problem, then whatever other problems we have, we can deal with, no matter how much uncertainty. So, in this time of what could be great uncertainty, we can choose to focus on the certainty that we have, which is in the love of God, shown to us most clearly in the life, the words, and the actions of the life of Jesus Christ. So that's what I wish for all of you and for myself, to move from uncertainty into things that really, in the end, aren't going to matter, and see the certainty we have in the one thing that does matter, and that is our hope in Christ. God bless you. If you found this energizing and refreshing in any way, please share it with your friends on whatever social media platform you found it. And God bless you, and we'll see you in next week's video.